Hello, I'm Halford and welcome to my channel Transformers Explained. In these videos I'll be sharing the origins and stories of the much loved characters in Transformers. This video will be focusing on the Generation 1 Marvel comic book continuity of the Autobot Wrecker Impactor. Impactor is one of my favourite Transformers. He's the tough, rough, no-nonsense leader of the Autobot elite strike team, the Wreckers. Although the Wreckers have had several leaders, most notably Springer and Ultra Magnus, neither of them embodied what the Wreckers stood for like Impactor. He was the type of bot who didn't mind getting his hands dirty. He would do the jobs nobody else would touch, and as such walked what many saw as a morally ambiguous line. But Impactor knew exactly what had to be done to win the war. His body is covered with weaponry, from the tank cannon on his shoulder, to the missiles hidden in his chest, to the handgun strapped to his leg, and finally his signature harpoon weapon that replaces his right hand. He is the best at what he does, and what he does ain't pretty, although his colour scheme is, with his weird kind of dirty pinkish purple and yellow colour combo. But I wouldn't argue with him, would you? During the events of the now classic and totally awesome UK Marvel storylines Target 2006, many new characters were introduced into the Generation 1 comic book continuity, such as the Unicron-powered Decepticons Galvatron, Cyclonus and Scourge, and the Autobots Ultra Magnus, Hot Rod, Blur and Cup, all of which were getting toys in 1986. Simon Furman and his team also introduced several new characters into this storyline which didn't have toys, so they were disposable of, as you can't kill off a new toy. The Hasbro executives don't like it. Amongst these were the Decepticon Macabre, the Autobots Emirates Axeron, Rack and Ruin, and of course Impactor. Impactor was dedicated to his troops, but frequently showed frustration towards superiors. In particular, Autobot resistance leader Emirates Axeron. Despite their difficulties, a genuine bond, mutual respect, and friendship existed between them. The Wreckers had already gained notoriety for the assassination of Megatron's successor Trannis, but other Decepticon warlords quickly sprang up to take Trannis's place, such as Lord Strakus. The events of Target 2006 introduce us to Impactor and the Wreckers on Cybertron, who were training to execute Operation Volcano, a daring plan to ambush the Decepticons' fierce warriors, including the Insecticons, the Triple Changers, and the Conehead Sweeps, using Exeron as bait. Ultra Magnus was assigned to the Wreckers to help them bolster their ranks for the mission, but following the Matrix flame being extinguished, Exeron sent him to Earth to investigate the disappearance of Optimus Prime. Without Ultra Magnus, Impactor's commitment to the mission wavered, and he at first refused to deploy his team, but he changed his mind after a conversation with Exeron. Impactor's doubts were further quelled when Exeron convinced him that the Autobot Triple Changer, Springer, Broadside and Sandstorm were an adequate replacement for Magnus. With Exeron as bait, the Wreckers' trap was set. But before the Decepticons could attack, they received a message from Megatron calling his warriors to Earth. So the Decepticons simply turned around and walked away from the planned ambush. Disappointed that their trap was ruined, the Wreckers let down their guard long enough to allow a Decepticon assassin, Macabre, who ignored Megatron's orders, to fire upon Axeron. Impactor was the first to react and pushed Axeron out of the way, taking the shots meant for him. Immediately, the other Wreckers turned and fired upon Macabre, killing him, but Impactor was shot in the head and fatally wounded. With his last words, he named Springer the next leader of the Wreckers, before dying in Exeron's arms. Springer was severely affected by Impactor's death and felt inadequate in the shadow of his legacy. So when a rogue Autobot mad scientist named Flame discovered a way to reanimate dead Transformers, turning them into zombies, Springer was crippled with fear when he was met with the zombie corpse of Impactor. But finding courage, he reluctantly fought zombie Impactor, managing to jar Impactor's memory of his past life. Confused, Impactor wandered away and eventually hobbled into Flame's inner sanctum. where the Autobots were facing off both against the crazed scientist and his zombie horde. Impactor shot Flame through the head with his harpoon, killing him. But Flame's machines were overloading, threatening to blow up the entire planet. The only means to shut them down was to enter a control room bathed in deadly radiation. Though Exeron planned to sacrifice himself, Impactor took his place, arguing he was already dead. So Impactor died for a second time, but in doing so, he saved the whole of Cybertron. Now, let's take a look at the Impactor toy line. As a disposable character invented for Target 2006, it wasn't until becoming a core character in the IDW comic universe that Impactor would eventually get a toy. This came as part of the 2012-2013 Fall of Cybertron Generations toy line, where he was a retool of Deluxe Class Onslaught with a new robot head. This toy was part of a Combiner Wreckers team, with a combined mode forming Ruination, and strangely had a combiner head based on Emirate Exeron. He transforms into a Cybertronian missile carrier truck. The toy buyer recognised him as the Wrecker leader and the bot to get the job done. The tech spec rightfully identified him as a powerful Transformer with a strength and courage of 10 and an endurance, fire blast and rank of 9. Whilst there have been a couple of other remolds of Impactor in the last few years, it wasn't until 2019 when Impactor got his own original mould as a result of his victory in the 2018 War for Cybertron Trilogy Hasbro fan poll. Impactor forms part of Siege War for Cybertron toy line. His appearance is based on the Target 2006 storyline, which I've discussed here. He transforms into a Cybertronian 4-treaded battle tank, which is something we've never seen because he never transformed in the comic. He comes with a harpoon hand, Energon Mind Blaster, and a Trilithium drill. Not satisfied with one Impactor, Hasbro has released another version of the toy as part of an exclusive 3-pack. This Impactor sports a Decepticon insignia and features a new IDW accurate head. As always, I'd love to hear what you think, so please leave your comments below, along with which characters you would like me to do next. Thanks for watching, and remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Until next time, Transformers, roll out!